Whoever does not fill their own cup will spend their life waiting for someone else to pour them a drop of satisfaction. And whoever does not learn to stand on their own feet in the desert of their self will always search for the shade of others to take refuge in. Welcome to this episode, where we talk about one of the most complex emotions in the human experience: attachment. Attachment is not always love. It is not always loyalty. And it is not always a sign of deep feelings. Sometimes attachment is simply fear disguised as love, or an inner emptiness to which we attach people's names. How many times has a person found themselves imprisoned by the thought of someone? How often has their mood shifted based on a message that came or didn't come? How often have they tied their happiness to someone's presence, their peace to a word, or their worth to a glance? This episode is not a call for coldness, nor a call to disconnect from people. It is a call to free ourselves from the kind of attachment that robs us of our inner freedom. Because the difference between love and attachment is profound. Love is space, attachment is a chain. Love is a choice, attachment is a need. Love gives you peace, attachment puts you in a state of waiting. When we love consciously, we remain whole even in the presence of another. But when we become attached, we feel incomplete without them, and that's where suffering begins. First, understand attachment before trying to free yourself from it. You cannot break free from something you do not understand. Attachment often does not come from the person we love, but from unmet inner needs. Perhaps a need for attention, a fear of loneliness, a search for validation we once lacked, or simply the mind's attempt to find external security. That's why attachment doesn't really say, "I love this person." Deep down, it says, "I'm afraid of losing what I feel with them." And here, love shifts from a free space into a space of anxiety. Second, stop making one person the center of your world. One of the biggest mistakes that feeds attachment is emotional overfocus. When one person becomes your only source of joy, reassurance, and validation, it's natural to fear losing them. A healthy emotional life is like a river branching into many streams: family, friends, work, interests, hobbies, learning, and self-growth. But when all these streams are reduced to just one, its dryness becomes a disaster. So the first step to freedom is to redistribute your life. Don't let your heart invest all its energy in one person. Invest in yourself, in multiple relationships, and in different meanings of life. Third, rebuild your relationship with yourself. Many people think they love themselves, but in truth, they don't even know themselves. A person who is at peace with themselves does not attach to others in a harmful way, because they know their existence does not depend on anyone's approval. Ask yourself honestly, what makes me happy away from others? What makes me feel full? What gives my day meaning, even if nothing extraordinary happens? These simple questions rebuild your inner center, and a person with a strong inner center does not easily fall into the cycle of attachment. Fourth, practice healthy absence. Attachment creates the illusion that someone must always be present. But in reality, healthy distance is a natural part of any balanced relationship. It's not normal to talk all the time. It's not normal to always be available. It's not normal for your mood to collapse because of a delayed reply. Real life is full of small distances. When you learn to live your day fully without depending on someone's presence, you gradually reclaim your freedom. Not because you no longer care, but because you are no longer a prisoner of presence. Fifth, learn to fill your own emptiness. Attachment often grows in emptiness. When a person's days lack meaning, they look for someone to fill that void. But people cannot be your entire life project. Life requires personal building. Read, learn, work, explore new skills, exercise, write, pursue goals. A person whose days are filled with meaning does not look for someone to be the center of their life. They allow others to simply be a beautiful part of it. Sixth, face your fear of loss. At the core of intense attachment lies the fear of losing, fear that the person will leave, change, or that we will return to loneliness. But the truth many avoid is this: all relationships can change, not because people are bad, but because life itself is constantly changing. An emotionally free person does not live in the illusion of permanence. They love sincerely and appreciate the moment, but they know their worth does not collapse if others change. Seventh, remember that your dignity is not negotiable. Attachment sometimes pushes people to accept what they never would, compromising their time, comfort, respect, or clarity, just to avoid losing someone. But the painful truth is that relationships built on fear do not last peacefully. A healthy relationship is built on clarity, respect, and mutual dignity. If you ever feel you must diminish yourself to keep a relationship, then the problem is not you, it is the nature of the relationship itself. Eighth, change the question you ask yourself. An attached person constantly asks, will they stay? Do they still care? Why did they change? But a balanced person asks something different. Does this relationship add value to my life? This simple shift changes everything. You move from emotional dependence to emotional awareness. Freedom from attachment is not a harsh journey as some think. It is, in truth, a return to the self, to the person who can love without losing themselves, come close without dissolving, and give without becoming empty. True love needs no chains and no fear. It happens when two complete people stand together, not when two halves try to complete each other. So always remember, don't abandon yourself just to be kept. The right person will love you as you are, whole, not diminished. Take good care of yourself and remember, the most beautiful relationship you can build in your life is the one you have with yourself. Before we continue, remember this quiet truth. Freeing yourself from attachment does not mean becoming cold or stopping love. It means learning how to love without losing yourself along the way. The problem is not in feelings, but in how we carry them within us. Now, let's go deeper with more practical steps. Ninth, don't let your imagination create a relationship that doesn't exist. One of the hidden causes of attachment is that we don't attach to people as they are, but to the image we create of them in our minds. Sometimes we don't love reality, we love the idea. We love the possibility, the ideal version we imagine, the future we built in our heads. So when the person changes or doesn't act as expected, we feel emotional shock. But the truth is, the shock doesn't come from their change. It comes from the gap between reality and imagination. Train yourself to see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. Ask yourself, do I truly love this person or the version I imagined? Clarity reduces attachment. 10th, learn emotional self-sufficiency. This doesn't mean you don't need anyone. Humans are social by nature. It means your happiness does not fully depend on someone else. A self-sufficient person can enjoy their time alone, live their day without feeling something is missing, love people without needing them to feel worthy. This state is built gradually. Every time you choose yourself, give yourself quiet time and handle your emotions with awareness, you are building an emotional home within you. And when your inner world becomes warm, you no longer search for shelter in every heart. 11th, build a life bigger than the relationship. A relationship should be part of your life, not your entire life. There is a vast world beyond relationships, dreams, skills, ideas, experiences. The bigger your life becomes, the smaller attachment feels, not because you care less, but because your life is full of meaning. 12th, train yourself to stay calm in anxiety. Attachment often Arabic yet Arabic thought, Arabic ha, Arabic rot in moments of worry. When replies are delayed, attention fades, or distance grows. In those moments, the mind creates countless scenarios. But most of these thoughts are not real, they are reflections of inner fear. So pause, breathe slowly. Remind yourself that thoughts are not always facts and your worth does not change because of someone else's actions. The more you calm yourself in anxious moments, the less power attachment has over you. 13th, forgive yourself for attaching. Some people punish themselves for it, feel ashamed, or blame themselves. But attachment is a natural human experience. Every person has gone through it. Every person has learned something from a relationship. Don't see it as weakness, see it as a stage of learning. Sometimes we only learn our boundaries after crossing them. Sometimes we only learn our worth after placing it in the wrong place. So forgive yourself and treat the experience as a lesson, not a failure. 14th, remember who you are. There comes a powerful moment in the journey of freedom when a person remembers their true value, realizing they are not just someone waiting for attention, nor just a heart seeking approval, but a complete human being with a mind, ambition, experience, and presence in this life. When you reclaim this truth, something changes within you. You no longer seek someone to give you value. You begin to live from the belief that you are valuable in yourself. Here, love becomes a beautiful choice, not a necessity. Freedom from attachment is not about cutting off relationships. It is about freeing them from fear. When you are free, love becomes purer, relationships calmer, and the heart more balanced, because you no longer love from a place of lack, but from a place of fullness. And perhaps the best way to end this episode is with this wisdom. The most beautiful people are not those who make us attached to them, but those who allow us to remain ourselves in their presence. The relationship that truly deserves you is the one that never forces you to abandon yourself. Here we reach the end of this episode of the podcast, Steps to Freedom from Attachment. Always remember, the closer you get to yourself, the further you move away from everything that binds your spirit. Until next time, wishing you peace and well-being.